What happens when a real American hero meets a robot that takes to the skies in disguise? Conrad Hauser, better known as Duke, thought he had seen it all in his military career. All of that changed one fateful day when he first laid his eyes on a transformer. And judging by the outcome of that encounter, it must have been a decepticon. Against the wishes of his superiors, Duke embarks on a journey to uncover the truth and stop the rise of the Transformers. Our story begins with none other than General Hawk having a candid conversation with a disgruntled Duke. Hawk, like a father, is patronizing Duke, reminding him of his accolades and how great of a soldier he was, and that recently he was acting out of character. Nonetheless, Hawk wants Duke back in action, but under two conditions: pass a psychiatric evaluation and stop asking fucking questions. Duke is adamant that he saw what he saw. Hawk, to no surprise, tells Duke that he too used to question his superiors, but Duke has been given the answers. Yeah, right. Hawk then tells Duke he's turning into a walking American nightmare, which is a contrast to what he labeled Duke earlier, one of the finest assets the USA has ever produced. This triggers Duke as he yells, "You weren't there!" Duke then goes into a brief account of that fateful day. Duke and Tyler Frost were flying back to base when they encountered what they believed was a hostile jet. That hostile jet quickly changed, or rather transformed, into something else. Something alive, something sentient, something sinister. This thing Hulk clapped Frost, crushing him and ending his life. Duke escapes but remembers that whatever that was enjoyed taking Frost's life. It's at this point that Hawk realizes he's made a mistake, questioning Duke and requesting him to come back, and that Duke needed more time off. Duke asks to see the records of the incident, and Hawk replies that they're classified. Duke erupts with anger and throws a chair, proclaiming that this country is lying to him despite his following every order to the best of his ability, and that he was going to get the answers on his own. 6 months later, we find Duke headed to a meeting with someone that can aid him in his mission, one Dr. Adele Burkhart. She wanted to meet with Duke because she heard his story and believed it related to her own. Burkhart shares with Duke that she dedicated her life to finding clean energy from residue cosmic space dust from the Big Bang. Her work landed her a role in a revolutionary project with an unnamed organization. Burkhart, like Duke, began asking questions, and her superiors didn't like that at all. She reveals to Duke the last blueprint of her work that she saved after the project was shut down and her research was destroyed. She expresses that if her research were to ever fall into the wrong, evil hands, weapons the likes of which the world has never known could be produced. Burkhart said to Duke that this experience with the flying robot and her life's work may be related, and it basically may be related to a high-tech arms race. A high-tech arms race that is led by none other than Mars Industries. Duke sets out to infiltrate Mars Industries to see what he can find. This is very reminiscent of Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty, when Solid Snake sneaks into the bunker to find the Metal Gear Rex. Only this time, there's no singular robotic Metal Gear Rex, but multiple potential transforming tanks and weapons of mass destruction. As Duke delves deeper into the compound, he arrives at what appears to be its core base of operations. His suspicions are confirmed. He saw what he saw. But before Duke can further investigate, a Mars Industry operative named Mercer, that resembles a cheap version of Clark Kent, engages with Duke in hand-to-hand combat. Duke displays martial arts masterclass, slipping, blocking, evading, counterpunching, and throwing the giant against what appeared to be some type of plexiglass. Duke basically outclassed this meathead like it was nothing. It's not long, though, before other guards show up and restrain Duke, allowing Mercer to land the only blow of the altercation. To Duke's surprise, though, without asking him any questions or requesting his ID, the guards threw him out of the facility like Uncle Phil used to do Jazz of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This was the request of the patriarch of Mars Industry, Destro. Destro realized the value of Duke and that his disappearance or death would draw too much unwanted attention to Mars Industries. Duke immediately returns to Dr. Burkhart's home to update her on his mission, but someone had already paid her a visit. Duke walked into Dr. Burkhart's home and witnessed the aftermath of a hit. Bodies and blood covered the floor. Amongst the dead, though, Dr. Burkhart, still holding on to life, calls out to Duke to give him her cell phone, which contained the blueprint that she showed him earlier of her life's work. She urges Duke to guard the information with his life before she passes right in his arms. And as Duke stands to look at what was going on and the aftermath and to piece together his next move, before he could make any move at all, a group of armed police officers enter the house to find the American hero, the only one alive, amidst a scene from a horror movie, making Duke the prime suspect in the crime. The officers order Duke to freeze as he raises his arms in compliance, insisting he be allowed to retrieve his ID. But before Duke can do this, the officers open fire, and Duke miraculously runs for cover up the stairs and out of a bedroom window without being shot to escape the officers. Duke is now an apparent fugitive and on the run. Finally, we see Colonel Hawk briefing his superiors on Duke's current affairs and then having a brief follow-up conversation with the sexy, sultry Courtney Covergirl Krieger. Colonel Hawk states that Duke has gone rogue, civilian lives have been taken, and due to the nature and high level of Duke's skill, he needed to send a couple of highly trained American heroes to bring him in. Enter Stalker and Rock and Roll, Yo Joe. What an amazing first issue. The plot made sense and flowed as well. It's what you'd expect from this type of story where the protagonist is a soldier, seemingly against all odds, and goes rogue. I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the story unfolds, and I wonder if this is a part of the G.I. Joe canon, as it seemed like Duke was unfamiliar with Mars Industries and Destro. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Trademark Comics.